People in my Discord have been asking for a storage solution for a stacked iron farm, and so I've created this OP iron farm storage. Yes, there's a lot going on, but this can handle any stacked iron farm or any iron farm whatsoever. Things to note, we have a section here that slows the items down enough so that they clump together, which gets around the hopper cooldown timer. So if you didn't know, hoppers don't pick things up continuously. They pick up and then they wait a tick or two and then they pick up again. That's why you can have some things that skip over the hoppers. Normally not an issue, but when you've got a stacked iron farm, that causes all kinds of problems and you'll have iron over the end. So the iron is picked up by this double hopper speed item filter designed by Golden Helmet, feeds into this crafter which autocrafts the ingots into iron blocks and stores them in the shulker loader designed by Daniel from the Amalek's Foundation, and that's that for the iron. So then we have the poppies composted into bonemeal, which is then autocrafted into bone blocks. And finally, the string is stored in this shulker loader, same design, the one by Daniel from Amalek's. Since the hoppers aren't next to each other, we can get away with a signal strength 2 filter for the string and poppies. I've also put the chests in such a way as it makes it easy to access in survival. So let's get on with it, shall we? You'll need an area that is 12 wide, 9 deep, and is 8 tall. And here's everything you need to get started. The smooth stone can be any solid blocks. The copper bars can be iron bars or glass panes. Trapdoors can be any wood or copper trapdoor. Buttons can be any button. You can get away with all but 3 glass if it's an issue. However, up here I like to be able to see where the items are flowing. And if getting crafters is difficult for you, I'll show you later how you can get away with not having 2 of these. Also, these are dispensers and not droppers. Dispensers are the ones that you need a bow to craft. So we have the area that we need to work in. And because some people will ask, no, you don't need to use quartz. It's literally any blocks or just in a void, just as long as these blocks down here are solid. I'm only using quartz to make it easy for you to see exactly where everything is and how many blocks there are between them. So the first thing to do is to decide exactly where to build it. You don't want any chunk borders running through between the hoppers and the ice. If you didn't know, hoppers can't pick up items from a water stream if there is a chunk border in between the ice and the hoppers. Don't worry, everyone makes that mistake. I even saw Silent Whisperer make that mistake on a live stream, and it took way too long to figure out. I, however, try to only make that mistake once a week. Realistically, the best thing you can do is to build this all in one chunk and then use this top section here to maneuver it so that the items fit within your iron farm, because this needs to be 8 long, but it doesn't need to be in a straight line. You can bend it however you need to get it so that the items flow in from your farm. When I build it, I like to base it off this block here, because if you're only doing it for a single iron farm, you really only need to start from here. You can also build this flipped, and direction doesn't matter. So if we're going to build off this, come to the back, come down 3 and across by 1, and then the 5th block up is going to be ice. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to call this the front. We're going to have front. So we come down here, 1, 2, 3 and across. And this block here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one is going to be the packed ice. Then we come down and then 6 this way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is going to be your water stream, and this is what we're going to build off. This first one is going to be the iron, so we have it like this. We'll do that so that the hopper is facing down, and we leave a gap and we look into it so that we have 2 that go into the ice and 1 that goes straight down. Underneath each of these we have our solid blocks, and then we come out and down. Next we put a temporary block, solid block, and then punch out the temporary block. Come up on top and we put comparators on each of these. We have dust on these 3 and dust on that one. Then come down and facing towards the comparators, we want a repeater on that one and a repeater on that one. Finally, we put glass on each of these and dust on top of the glass. Swing around to the front side, and then we put a torch in each of these. Now let's get those chests in. So they are going to go directly under the hoppers. We have that one, and it goes out there, and then we leave a gap, and we put 2 in there, and then a 2 there. Let's build the Poppy composted bone meal system first. We're going to have a comparator coming out on subtract mode, dust next to it, and then turn and face the other way, and we have a comparator there. Now we have a crafter here which we then disable 8 of the spots. Doesn't matter which one, you can do it like that, just as long as 8 are done. As I said before, if crafting is an issue, you can do hopper. So if we were to do a hopper, we would do a hopper there, and then 2.5 stacks of a stackable item, like so. That will give us a signal strength of 8, which is the same as having a crafter like this. Also, the crafter direction does not matter. That's just the way that I like to do it. It can face any direction. We're just trying to get a signal strength out of there to push into the side of this so that we only craft items when this whole thing is filled up. So now we put a solid block there and there, put dust there, and then facing this way, we put a repeater there. And next to the crafter, we put a target block. That way, when this fills up, it starts a signal, which then causes it to auto-craft for as long as there are items filling it up, only when it's full. And so then that'll push the bone blocks into this chest. To finish it off, stand on top, crouch and jump and place the hopper. And then crouch and jump and place the composter. Crouch and jump and place the hopper, so that you have a situation like this. That this hopper points down into the composter, hopper then pulls out of there into there. And the last thing we do, come over here and look into that, and so it faces like this. This hopper faces away, this hopper faces into this hopper, which goes down into the composter, etc, etc. And we'll do the filter items later. Now let's build up the shulker loader for the string. Next to the target block, facing this chest, we put the hopper, crouch and put a mud block on top like that. And then we have 2 solid blocks here, leave it there, flick it down, and put redstone dust on top. Facing away from the mud, we have a comparator which feeds into a solid block. You can just crouch and put the solid block on there. And then we can crouch and put another solid block on top like this. Put dust on that. Come around to the far side and we'll put a button there. That is to dispense a shulker if we ever run out. Put a temporary block next to the mud. Jump up here so that we can put our dispenser coming out this way. Then if you stand on this target block and look right up in the corner, you're going to get your piston down there, and then on top of the piston we want to put a torch like so. Now let's put a temporary block there so that we can get a hopper in like that. Place another hopper into the piston, and then crouch and place a hopper facing into the dispenser. Jump up on top, crouch and put a chest on there, and this is going to be filled with your empty shulker boxes. So if we put these in, they're going to be in there, and for the first one, press that button, which dispenses the shulker box, like that. And we get our trapdoor, and at the top, not at the bottom, top goes like that. So you can access the contents of the shulker box while it is being loaded. And that's everything for that shulker box loader. Pretty simple, hey? Love it. Now let's work on the iron storage. So we're going to crouch and put a hopper there so that it points into the chest, and then we're going to build the shulker loader, except we're going to build it twisted sideways, just so that it fits in with the autocrafter. So we have mud on top of that, solid block behind and to the side. Then we have a lever on there and dust on top. Flick the lever down so that the dust goes on. Facing in this direction, we want a comparator there with a solid block on the end there. You can either use a temporary block there, or you can crouch and hit the end of the comparator. We want a dust on top of that, solid block on top. Come around and put a button there. Jump up onto the chest, and looking down right there, we want to have the piston going down like this. Temporary block next to the mud so that you can come on this side and place the dispenser like that, and a torch on top so that it looks like this. Let's put some shulkers into here, empty shulkers, and then test that it works by pressing that, and you should have your shulker out like that. Put your wrap door down on the top and flip it down. You should be able to open the shulker box with that on. Now come to this side, and we're going to put a hopper facing in here. You could have the crafter facing straight into the shulker like this, but that will mess up with some of the redstone. Now put some temporary blocks like this so that you can stand over here and put your crafter in like this. That just makes it so that the face is going into there, so when anything is crafted, it will push it straight into this hopper, which then feeds into the shulker. Actually, let's put that temporary block there. So we're going to have this like this, and we'll do bit of a platform like this for now. We can pull away things later. Let's put a comparator there on subtract mode. Comparator there. We'll put our crafter here with the 8 item slots disabled like we did before, or do it with the hopper, whichever works best for you. Put redstone dust here, and then we want solid blocks here and here. We're just doing the same auto crafting thing that we did down there. So I have dust and a repeater here. Now, if you feel like getting rid of some of the blocks, you can get rid of that one and that one. And you could get rid of that one if you absolutely need to. Just make sure you put that one back. And we can get rid of the temporary block under there. We want to make sure we have a target block here so that it powers the crafter. Now we have one in like this, one down into there, and then we have a hopper that goes into that, and then a hopper that goes into that. Next we'll work on the item filters. You'll need an anvil for this so that you can rename things, and you'll need at least 12 of one item and at least 4 of another item. I'm just going to do a stack at a time. And if you name it something with a cutter wolf in there, it is scientifically proven to double your rates. I don't make the rules, that's just how the game seems to function. So I'll take the other item. It can be named something different, but it's just easier on yourself to use a different item. And I've used the magic keywords, so we're going to get 4 times the rates. It's a joke, you don't actually get them. Or do you? So now, in this one we're going to have 4, and this one we're going to have 4. We'll set these up first to make it easy on ourselves. So this middle one, we're going to put the poppies in there. That's going to filter down, and you should be able to see the composter level filling. And here we're going to put the string in there. You need 1 piece of string to get it started with the filter. If you have more, feel free to dump it in. Now, the iron one is a little bit more complicated. So we have this hopper that's facing down, and then we have the one underneath. This one underneath, we're going to put 4 items in there. And then we need a full stack of iron ingots in there. Must be a full stack. So we used sticks there, and the top one, we're going to use bamboo there. And then you can put whatever in there. You need at least 1 in there, but then that goes down there and you'll see it fills up and finishes there. So then we're going to end up with 40 in the top, 64 in there, and the key part is having these filter items and these filter items different. So that's it for the storage part. Now we just need to finish off the water streams and everything will be good. So if we come over here, let's put a temporary block there. So we can put a chest like this. It needs to be this way, or it can be this way, just as long as it's going parallel to the line of the water. So you can see that the hitbox is just shorter than the full block. So the items will actually hit that and go just over the edge, which is just enough to be picked up by these hoppers. Now from here, we want to put either the glass panes or the copper or iron bars so that they go there. I usually like to send it one bit on there, and then you can put glass on this side to contain the water. But in this case, I'm actually going to put bars there. Just makes it a little easier if you ever have to deal with comparators or redstone. So let's take it all the way there and surround the rest of it with glass or a solid block. So you have something like this. Now take your water bucket. It's going to go there, and it'll go right to the edge there. Now, normally I would put lava in here and have a form of disposal. However, if you're worried about that, just put a chest there and a hopper in there. So anything that overflows will get collected in there just by your testing, really. Now, with your glass, let's kind of surround it like this. Go up 1 more and put your powdered snow there. We want a solid block other than ice there. I'm just putting glass here for the moment, and then you use your packed ice. So you want a total of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This could be like off to the side or whatever, just as long as there are 8 blocks. And then I'm going to surround this with glass like so. And the last step is we put the water in there. If we've counted that right, then the snow doesn't melt. Everything is all good. As I explained at the start, you can have the items drop anywhere in here. So if you need like additional water streams coming in from different villages, then you can do that in there, or just have it all go into one. This snow block will slow things down so that they can kind of clump together and avoid the hopper cooldown. As you run it, just make sure there are shulkers in there and over, and I just forgot, make sure you put a hopper and chest or double chest there. And so the shulkers go into here, and that's all there is to it. Bye.